A round and golden moon rolled low along the horizon for the next few days, too huge and weighty to rise up any higher into the sky. When it finally began to shed its weight and loft higher, it lost its golden hue, and the light became grayer. The air began to frost every night, and the stars to glitter more coldly, and so October came upon Phippsburg and Malaga Island. The cold snapped the tethers of the last leaves, and they fell straight down onto Phippsburg's roads and over the grave sites of Malaga. Even the pine trees down to Thayer's hay meadow put on their darker green and hunched their branches closer as the mornings came in colder and colder. It would not have surprised anyone to see the first flakes of snow. Turner ran to the shore every day now, the forbidden having been silently lifted, or at least not imposed. From the granite ledges, he could count 20, sometimes more, plumes of white wood smoke rising from the houses on the island, but each time he went, there seemed to be fewer, though the days grew colder. Slowly, little by little, souls were drifting away from the island, their own tethers snapped. And the houses, left soulless, died, windows glassless, doors hanging on single hinges, some of the clapboard already pruned. Usually, Lizzie would be watching for him. He would wave from the top of the ledges with both his hands over his head, and she would run down to the dory, push off, and be across by the time he had climbed down. Once over on Malaga, they would go up to her house to see her granddaddy. He was always propped up on his elbows and waiting for Turner. And then they would go down to the shore until the sea breeze turned too cold for them to sit by the waves. They'd walk across the island through the quiet green cemetery, past the foundation of the Tripp house, and then around the whole island, hardly talking, hardly needing to. Everything was as quiet could be. If Lizzie wasn't there waiting for him by the shore, Turner would figure her granddaddy needed her, and he would wait, hoping she might come around the turn. If she didn't, he would walk home with his coat wrapped about him, a tang of salt in his mouth. Back at First Congregational, folks were quiet around Turner, though Deacon Hurd had stopped him outside the church the Sunday after the game. "Still can't get a hit off my Willis's pitching, can you, Turner?" He had laughed then, stopped suddenly, and stared at Turner. "What's that on the tip of your ear, boy?" "On the tip of my ear? Looks like yellow paint. Have you been painting anything yellow in the last few days?" "Nothing around my house needs painting," Turner said, which was not a lie at all, sort of. "Then what's that on your ear?" "It's an old family disease that keeps coming back no matter what I do." "Old family disease? My grandfather got it from missionary work, somewhere in the Galapagos Islands." That was as out loud as an out loud lie could be, but it was such a good one that Turner couldn't feel too bad about using it, especially with Deacon Hurd. "And the Galapagos," my grandfather shouted. "Unclean, unclean," whenever someone came near him. Deacon Hurd backed away when Turner held out his hand to shake. "An old family disease?" said Turner's father after the evening service. "You told Deacon Hurd that your grandfather gave you an old family disease?" "Well, that he might have gotten sick once while doing missionary work." "Your grandfather did missionary work in Iceland." "I don't think people in Iceland call out, 'Unclean, unclean.' And how did you get yellow paint on the tip of your ear?" "No, I don't want to know." Turner obliged him. The next Sunday after services, Willis Hurd nodded to Turner as he filed out with the rest of the congregation to shake Reverend Buckminster's hand. No one was shaking Turner's hand. "Next time, keep your ears out of the paint," said Willis, and went on to the minister. Turner decided he probably didn't hate Willis so much anymore.